Hello everybody, my name is James and this is my channel called Triple Sticks Landscaping. Today I'm going to show you guys a video that I shot actually about 2 years ago. I didn't have the confidence to post this video at all, so I'm now going back through my camera roll and I actually have a fair amount of footage for several things, and I'm going to put something together and make a pretty decent video. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. This one we were actually pulling out a Bermuda yard and putting down zoysia. I didn't lay the sod, but I was prepping the yard for the customer, and it turned out pretty good. I was happy with it. My customer was happy with it. Life happens. My machine broke down, so it was an interesting time. So let's just show you that video. I think you guys will like it.
Okay, so this is my setup. This is my Ditchwitch 350, I believe, is what it is. Very small machine, but it gets the job done. Now here I have a root rake, a bucket, and I probably won't use the root rake. I'm just going to try it out. And then this is a friend of mine's. He's another landscaper. It's called a Harley rake, and those little teeth there pull up all the grass and everything, so that you start fresh with fresh dirt, and all the grass is pulled out of it. So we'll show you that as we go along. It's a pretty neat process, and I'll see if I can show you as we do it. Quick note, if you don't know what is a Harley rake, it's also a power rake. Harley rake is a specific brand, I believe. Okay, here's what the yard looks like beforehand. I went ahead and sprayed it about a week ago to kill the grass. We've had a lot of rain, so there's a little bit still hanging on, but we're going to go ahead and grade that out. I'm bringing some dirt in for these really rooty areas. That should be here this afternoon. And then you see here, everything was dying underneath this tree. So we're doing something more, a little more shade tolerant, but he's also going to have this tree limbed back a little bit. He had some pulled back, as you can see. The canopy was rather large, and there's a lot more sun getting in here now. So that's partly the reason why this died out right here. So we'll start grading this out and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've never tried using this rock rake for anything else, but I just tried to use it to pull up this grass right here, and it would work. As you can see, it would take a lot more work to pull up that grass. It is doing it. See, it has these teeth right here that dig way deep in the dirt, and it creates these thicker grooves, and then you could pull the grass out with it. It would take a lot more work. You'd have to hand rake a bunch afterwards, but you could use that if you didn't have the ability to get your hands on a Harley rake or something like that. Alright, so that being said, let's check out what we can do with the Harley rake, or whatever it's called. I just call it a Harley rake because that's what my old boss used to have, and that's just what we always called it. So we'll use this power rake and see what it turns out as. Alright, so once you power rake it, you'll have dirt and grass left over. If you have a place to dump it, the best. If you have weed killer in it like I do, you want to put it where you don't have to worry about it killing other grass or anything else in the area. So like a flower bed, if you wanted to raise the flower bed, you can use that. But anything in the flower bed has a good chance of dying if you have weed killer in it. Well, inevitably, like everything else, my hydraulic coupler just exploded on my machine, and I'm gonna have to order a new part, but I got this yard pretty much where it needs to be. It could be a little better, but because it's leaking hydraulic fluid everywhere, it is what it is, and I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. Well, as you can see, the hydraulic coupler started leaking right here. I can't really tell why. I think it's just coming out of the seal. I think the seals are busted, but it's just pouring out down the arm of my Ditchwitch here. So we'll have to replace that. We can't really do anything about it right now. But this is what the yard should look like. And if you look down over here, you may not be able to see it as well, but there's still a bunch of grass sprigs sticking up, and if I could run the Harley rake a little more, I would probably make 2 more passes over everything and pull up some more of that grass. But at the moment, you can still lay grass over top of this. There's not a huge amount there. So this is what you're aiming for right here. Nice and smooth, and you see how fluffy this is. I'll even show you right here. See how fluffy that is? And there is grass mixed in there. I mean, you're not going to get it all out. I mean, you could spend 3 days here and still have grass, a little bit of grass in there. But you just don't want huge amounts, because what happens, here, I'll explain that here in just a second. So the reason why you can't put grass on top of grass is because it generates heat when it's decomposing. So if you were to put grass, if you were to just lay sod right on top of regular grass without prepping the soil first, that other grass would start to die and generate heat, and then your new grass that you just spent all the money on will die. So don't ever do it that way. You need to at least prep with a weed eater or something like this, where you're pulling up the roots of the old ones. That way they don't continue to live and burying them deeper under the soil. That way it doesn't generate as much heat. So that's why you don't just lay grass on top of the ground. Well, I'm on my way to Advanced Auto Parts. Not to get the coupler, because I'll have to order that from Ditchwitch. Not super happy about that, but it is what it is. I have to have it. And then things always come in threes, so I should have known something else was going to happen. So I started using the other attachment I had and started to pull stuff and start going uphill, and machine shut off and it won't start back. So I pulled a couple covers off, and I found that I have a clogged fuel filter. So it hasn't been running super well. I knew that was probably going to be a problem sooner rather than later, so of course that showed up today as well. And I checked the oil, and it is below the hatch mark, which I know that it has a low oil sensor. That way you don't run it completely out of oil. So between those two things, I'm gonna run up to Advanced Auto Parts and get a little fuel filter and some oil and fill that puppy up, just so we can at least finish up and get this day done. Alright, so we got this job wrapped up. We had 7 yards of topsoil brought in this morning. We spread that, smoothed it over top of where all these roots were, so that we have a little bit more soil there, and including the sod, probably about 2 more inches total. But as you can see, there's a little bit of grass left here. Grass will still grow on that. I would have taken it down more, but the coupler for the hydraulic coupler for my Ditchwitch decided to blow up yesterday and was leaking everywhere. So rather than damaging the soil by dripping hydraulic fluid in it everywhere, I got it to a point where it'll live, where new grass can grow on top of that, and you know, the customer shouldn't have any problem with that. So, but that's it for us. We're not laying this out here. The customer's doing that themselves, so we are on to the next one.